Test Virginia. Test Drupon.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you all had a wonderful lunch. So we'll begin with the opening prayers, just the brief opening prayers beginning on page 4. Twice in English and once in Tibetan.
We can't hear.
Oh, okay.
It's set normal.
So is it on my end then?
Yeah, maybe you were covered up by your shawl.
Oh, can you hear now? Well, I know you guys in the room can hear, but the people on Zoom can. Yes, I'm getting a thumbs up, so it sounds like it's okay. Yeah, I'll put it closer. So we'll start with opening prayers on page 4 of the prayer book, twice in English and once in Tibetan. And the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha most excellent, I take refuge until enlightenment is reached. By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings. In the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha most excellent, I take refuge until enlightenment is reached. By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings. May all mother sentient beings, boundless as the sky, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from the happiness which is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. May all mother sentient beings, boundless as the sky, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they not be separated from the happiness which is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. The ground is sprinkled with scented water and strewn with flowers, adorned with Mount Meru, the 4 continents, sun and moon. This mandala is visualized as a Buddha field. By this offering, may all sentient beings enjoy the pure realms. by homage, offerings, confession, rejoicing, requesting, beseeching, the small merit which I have gathered, I share for the Buddhahood of all. Please turn the wheel of the Dharma of the two vehicles and their combination according to the dispositions and likewise the mental capacities of sentient beings.
Good afternoon. Thế thằng ở chỗ còn mà phải chơi chưa đâu chỉ công việc của sở đấy ta chào chơi chỗ phát triển bộ trong nó đã chào chơi triển bộ trong nó khai thác là thế này xem mà hình bà solo chỉ này công ty chỉ giáo viên thế này nhá ngã số tí sự phát triển rồi đó nghe số thứ thế này dùng cái xong close.
So, Drupon Rinpoche thought we could start by doing 10 minutes of meditation to begin with. And so we can just meditate, whether you practice Dzogchen, the essence of Mahamudra, the main, whatever method of meditation that suits you. The main thing is we can just relax into a state of clear awareness without distraction. So just practice holding our attention without slipping into a state of distraction, and have this as a time to both relax and brighten our awareness.
다 단기 ngato ta tini ma dobina sta ngondo karsida ngondo ki chude kharje ke manje dawa zimang dawa tini res hyurwa
Karita mangtar. Mangship. So where we left off in the song, and this is actually a song, actually, by the way, and in the Tibetan, it's in same number syllable lines. So ideally, we could also do this with more time so that it can be chanted also in English, which would be fun, but there's no time right now. So the next line of the song is, we left off at, the preliminary dharmas are crucial, like the fortress of a castle. So the preliminary dharmas are meaning, or ngundro, the word in Tibetan is ngundro. So the ngundro, the common ngundro and uncommon ngundro, are like the fortress of a castle. They're like, we often say, the foundation of of a palace, of a building. It's like a very foundation of the practice itself.
Wadati indu tatiri tangi kong shuba na yere so namsaya senari ngondoti ta manje te chadi yore te indu te na wadati be chako so tati res tati to ne ngato ta ngondo na ne da chena ke ngondo son sine tati tanga so ngondo slabdu tiyungu doa che ketene ngondo lodo namba he 테르와 텐전이 가와 레준데 세메타와 크루이 녜메 세야 헤당 테네 다 나한테 가서 제발 그 문도 세나리 나한테 문도 텔라 테네 가서 점도 테네 디그레 자야 치와라 이게 자와 손놈사야라 멘데 칠람 주야라 라미넨조르 센 티티 텔라 강가서 제탕 문도 스틱다 지키도 문도 차비요레스 다티 카르고 요르스나 제바요 말에 차도 니야란도 당치 과레스
Diniang Cheparking Undo, the Jongsem Lapchu Maridilla. So this foundation of the practice, which consists of, which is really like the most important aspect of all levels of practice. It's like the very foundation. And so there's the common preliminaries of the four thoughts that turn the mind. That's also referred to as the inner ngundro, or the inner preliminaries of the four thoughts, which are contemplating precious human birth, the difficulty of achieving a precious human birth, contemplating the truth of impermanence, the uncertainty of death, contemplating karma, cause and effect, and contemplating the defects or faults of samsara. And then the inner preliminaries, or the inner ngundro, it consists of refuge as the first, and then as a means to particularly focusing on purification, we have the practice of Vajrasattva and the recitation of the 100-syllable mantra. And then in particular, focusing on the accumulation of merit, there is the practice of mandala. And then as the method to really connect with the blessings, we have the Guru Yoga as the fourth. And so these are the four inner preliminaries or uncommon preliminaries.
다 대가 나이 때네 가서 다 단다 차지 침묵 만대이나 때네 창조 샘타 예담라서 뭐 요리나 다 강다리야 다 단단데라 때네 가서 예담레스 다 예담데라 티니 나레 나 텔링아예 나통 하예 거죠 다 단기 자에마예 온로마예 티유비 티토네 다 간데제 곰고레세나 때네 다 티니 나레 때네
And so I forgot to say what he just said before is that this progression of both the outer and inner preliminaries is the same, whether the tradition of Mahamudra, whether the tradition of Dzogchen, it's the same progression. And then you have, if for instance it's the tradition of the Fivefold Path of Mahamudra, you would have also the special preliminary of bodhicitta, and then you have meditation on the Yidam deity. And so that's what then comes next here is the Yidam deity, as it says, within that very state itself. So from within the state of the mindset of the preliminaries, from within that foundation of Ngundro, or the foundation of the preliminaries, then train in the enlightened form of the deity as the union of appearance and emptiness.
다틀라 당가서 이제 배나 안된도 위임이나 되네 다 예담 dem 조타 그가나 얘기다 주도이나 파모타 되네 다 님메조 되네 예담 단디다 다 텐데 요레스 이네야다 단단데라 거의 지 갈세거래 예담디 통다카레노 지마도다 고지파면도
And so there are many possibilities for who this deity, the Yidam deity, might be. So for instance, in the practice of the Fivefold Path of Mahamudra, the main deity, Yidam deity, is primarily Chakrasambhara. And then in the context of practicing the 6 yogas, it is Vajravarahi. Or, for instance, in the Nyingma and the Yangzab, it would be Hayagriva. So there are many possibilities for which Yidam deity, but in any case, the practice of the Yidam training in the Yidam deity itself is the same, regardless of which lineage, which deity.
benam bongomba doina da jatanga so da ningme kinala drupchen de karsina drupchen da duba he chejo de karcha de yosna kagong pursom seya
de komason de drupchen cheso
drupchen chejo ningme ke nima tradition la karioresna tene kagong pursom slagores
de kapjerebe
re kapji tha
kapje
ne porwa tha da jitang porwa de kapji na la yorwa tene kondu lama kondu
ditosum And so then there's also, for instance, in the Nyingma tradition, and also what is one a very important practice that is practiced as a Drupchen at Drupon Rinpoche's home monastery in Tibet, Drongor Gomba or Bongomba, is the 8 Herukas. So in the 8 Herukas, you also have there are considered to be like the 3 most important deity practices of the Nyingma tradition that are practiced as a Drupchen. So those, in each year, for instance, at his monastery, they would do each of these. That's the 8 Herukas, Vajrakilaya, and of course Vajrakilaya is also one of the 8 Herukas, and Lamagundu.
인식 매니 대사모 당고고래다 가주 세야 닝마 세야 텔라 다 콜람 렘베케 체크 로탕다 베나 착첸 세야 족첸 세야 도라 다 직디스 코 체크 디기 자가 어토 통 담베케 지 가세고레 만다와 요마레스
Don Madrawa.
동탐빙 원래 오토메이트 만다와 요마레스
And so in general, mainly there are, for instance, we have like these Kagyu lineage practices, these Nyingma lineage practices, or the tradition, respectively, we might refer to, the tradition of Mahamudra, the tradition of Dzogchen. And there are differences with regard to, the details of these practices and the words, the vocabulary. But ultimately, actually, in meaning, they are really exactly the same. There's no difference with respect to the ultimate meaning. They're really the same.
이나 똑지 기초대 되니 다 된다고 뭐도 어떤 일이 되니 다 대래 제가 나이 다 된디 이미 좀 센터라 되네 배는 가서 지금까지 세야 되게 되네 다 냠랜데 가르치 거스나 단다 차도 니게 냠랜 치기거래스
And in our Drupon Kagyu tradition, actually, there's a great unity of these two streams. So actually, both are practiced. We have both Mahamudra and Dzogchen practice, or Nyingma and Kagyu practices practiced in the Drupon Kagyu lineage.
In reality, one is a motana, tene, chichinata Nyingme kichu. really 냠len 칭야데 다 알아서나 그치 지금까지 차대지래 로템이우스
양차
다 님이 중원에 냠len 칭야데 지금까지 차대지래 템이우스
And he thinks that, like the true practitioners of even the Nyingma practices or Nyingma lineage are actually Drupon Kagyu.
Today, not so the 90, I think, 1991, I think. Okay, yeah, right. Today, go to Kochela, not so today, Tadan Mochi, Molam, Jinda Tone, that Dojidela, Ningme Molam, Kitan Tadan Geta, Chulo, Hamato Bre, Tene, Chulo Nga, Ben Ne Ngala, Tene, Tadan Mochi, Jinda Tone, Ben Ningmaina, Dorjede, Kaju in Lumbune. Sasha in Varanasi, Tineta, Nimagaji, Hello in Atakaina, here was the I don't know. So
Kushinagar,
Kushinagar is all that is Barawati, today, Tenetadan Muchiki, not number is.
Denidi Rede la Monam Rede Chepare, Carre, Monamro.
Montegelo Nima, Chigoro.
Did he? Okay. So in 1991, Tatang Rinpoche sponsored this.
Maybe he started, I think, in 1990, but yeah.
This kind of great Monlam or prayer festival for all of the different lineages in each of the holy places. So for the Nyingma. And he sponsored it. So he was the benefactor. He sponsored each of these big, prayer festivals in each of the holy places. So for the Nyingma prayer festival or Monlam was held at Bodh Gaya, and the Kagyu, for the Kagyu lineages at Lumbini, and for where the Buddha was born. For the Sakya, the Sakya tradition in Varanasi, and then the Gelug, he's not entirely sure, he can't remember, but he thinks maybe Kushinagar, and so, yeah.
Today, that Karsina go to Kochela, Nimala Sota, Koranso, Sonotobares.
And in that year of 1991, in particular, the Nyingma lineage held a big conference.
That's on the Tony, Tigabla, Nandovere, not the chance of Lanketa, the Hurua, Lingan, you not a sound Dobares. That's on the Drobe Kabla, Tineta, Tadan Rabuchi, Getanga to Ningma, Po Nala Yong can 자가 la yongken, pyu la yongken, drog la yongken, tso la, tene chirang so la, so la kagong pursum ke drupchen yowes. Tene yobi yina, teyang tene jinda thongya ke tabshi chigi yin song yores.
So ditoge de bula. Jimda kande.
Mare. So la yonas, pu la yonada, jaga la yonada.
Dene jinda chego.
Jinda cheya ke tabshi chigi yin slav yores.
So during and Tatang Rinpoche de Chitang Nyingma rewa. So Tatang Rinpoche held, so they had this big conference, this Nyingma conference, and actually Drupon Rinpoche went, he went as the representative. He was at that time the disciplinarian, the Geiko at Jangchubling Monastery in India, in Dehradun. And so he went to this Nyingma, this conference, and it really, they had like representation or representatives from all different monasteries, from, Tibet, from India, from Nepal, from Bhutan. And Tatang Rinpoche asked who among, everybody knows of, or is, comes from a monastery that is practicing these three primary Drupchans, these three that he mentioned of the 8 Harukas, Kilaya, and Lamagundu, because he wanted to sponsor, the Tatang Rinpoche wanted to sponsor their practice to make sure that they're maintained.
Probably he's willing to sponsor, right? You see
It's
that?
Okay.
The in the yin that interesting jigla that tigala tene digung kaju gombala gahela drupchen som yore gahela drupchen jig yore ina tig drupchen mengen digung kaju peche gomba yo mares
Digung kagi mato.
Mari matamos. Digung kaju na la ti drupchen mengen yo mares gahe gomba jek na ni yo sugure gahe jig yore ina kanta digung kaju la drupchen mengen yo mares.
So what was really interesting is that of everybody who was there, so all of the Drikung Kagyu monasteries, even though these are traditionally like Nyingma Drupchans, that all of them practiced at least one of them. So not all of them practiced all three. So some practiced, there was like 2 or 1, but almost every single Drikung Kagyu monastery was practicing one or more, still maintaining one or more of these Drupchans.
So maybe I mistake, but at that time, Nyingma Pol Dinken Inanda, Tene Jagar Pu Dinken la Drupchen Yoris to the Komasons, Drupchen Suguyus, Komasons.
So at that time, though, he didn't hear, it didn't seem there was any monastery in India or Nepal that was practicing these, or practicing all three. Rebe. Okay, I really messed that up.
So I didn't hear. So any Nyingma monastery, Tibet, India, Nepal. I didn't hearing that they are Drupchen in the Nyingma Gomba. How was
Yeah, so none of.
I mistake,
interestingly, there was no. Maybe he was mistaken. He said, but what he understood or what he heard was that even though these are traditionally held Nyingma Drupchans, that there weren't any Nyingma monasteries that were still practicing these three.
Well, that is interesting. So, but.
So that's to say that there's, to kind of point out what a strong connection the Drikung Kagyu has also with Nyingma, with the Nyingma lineage. And in his region, so in any case, in his hometown, in his monastery, like throughout all of the surrounding regions, they're really known for this really important and sort of big occasion of practicing the 8 Herukas in particular.
Authentic ben nyang nima was there nyang lo kabji tsu gore nyang lo kabji chi ne
Nime ozer
nyang lo kabji te ta kabji chi ne cham ke cham ta ning me ke cham yongye de peche ta ta nan dung ka ju ta yang go lak pa de zo ta bong go ma cha de ores.
And so in particular, there's what's referred to as the Nyang tradition, which is the tradition of Nyang Nime Ozer of the 8 Herukas, and also the Cham, which are dances, the sacred dances of Cham for the 8 Herukas, has been preserved in particular, like at his monastery in Tibet at Bongompa. And also that's another in general, at and kind of widespread practice throughout many of the Drupon Kagyu monasteries. These Cham dances of both Sarma lineage and Nyingma lineage have been well preserved.
Oda tenderes tendetene da jatan nyingma de jatan nyingmen cham de da di yosare bena cha chawina ngaso miling gomban rawina miling tiche nyingma da di peche nyingmen cham yosare ngaso da ngema lurju ktola ngaso nyingme ke cham te peche yosare samgdo ina yada ji nyingme ke ina khonnam sang khan nyamlen chegorsena nyang ke kabji the nyamlen nang yores.
Yaboko masongongta.
Bena terwa ning.
I mean, Minling Jinjin.
Minling gomba rawa.
Minling gomba and Deradunla. Orgare.
Deradunla ina ta je phule yorwa.
So Mingling gomba kongso dadung kabje chegyore chamyang chegyore.
Marimaga ne cham chegyo sares.
Cham chegyore. Kabje gi cham or chitang. So, but also actually of the Nyingma monasteries, Mingling, Chichin, Gomba, like the monastery, both in India and those in Tibet, have also still are well preserved the Cham practices of, in particular, also the 8 Heruka Cham.
So that's maybe a little bit too far. Da yedam zone da yedam de la ngaso teni do teni ngale nang thong de sung do da teni ngale nang thong de sung da ja tha ngaso de yedam se ya de lu yedam plus da ngaso la gong go yore da ka chang ngaso wang shibe ke na la khare sung yore lam na wang shiba de la sem de rank semi ba ngote swa o da ti de la da ngaso lu yedam yi ba ji
and so, and indeed, Bumbe Wang Tang Noah La Yomana. Oh, okay, yeah. So then we have here, as it says, so we train in the enlightened form of the deity as the union of appearance and emptiness. So you remember, during the fourth empowerment, there's the introduction to the essence of awareness, or meditating on the true nature of one's own mind, essentially. And then there is the aspect of this which is practiced in the form of the generation stage. So where one is really practicing meditating on the body as the enlightened form of the deity.
Da zo nga zo da yedam gombe kabla da di thana sadana yomarwa ko di poetry re song re da yedam nga zo yedam nyamla china ma che la omo soba wa hyoda sarvada ma soba wa hyoda ha ombani de chor ombe ngale da neri de be ma nyinda la soba tende lamne tene yedam plat ji un go yore es
And so here, there's not, it just says the Yiram deity. There's not a particular Yiram deity that is identified. There's not a sadhana that this is connected with because it's just poetry, it's a song. But when the form of the deity arises, then it arises from, so for instance, we know from the sadhana that we have the Swabhava mantra, Om Swabhava Shuddha Sarva Dharma Swabhava Shuddho Hung. And then from this, everything is transformed into, or becomes its true essence of emptiness. So it's like everything is placed in the original state of emptiness, and then from within that emptiness, we gradually build the visualization of the deity. So, maybe there's a sun and a moon disk on a lotus, and then the seed syllable, and so on and so forth.
Oda tindi yina ya da son dor du sona ngazo da tela oda teli tan ngi nos. Da ti ngale ngazo lu jego da yedam se ya lu jeba de 가르지 gegos나 ngazo 동배 ngale da soje jego pena demchoda ro demchoda jego ina demchoda je야 de 간에 jego라나 ngazo 직 소 단다 소라 관로 nga랑 소보노 teni jego 마레스. Tindi sodelaya toya yoba naya yobala tini tombani res.
And so, in brief, it's sort of like the birth of our body, but it is the birth of the empty yet clearly appearing form of the deity. And that birth starts from within the state of emptiness. And then we have the form of the deity that clearly appears. So it's like, whatever the deity is, say for instance, for Chakrasamvara, but this form is not like ordinary form. So we're not relating with it like matter, like some solid form. It possesses empty essence. It's empty in essence, but it appears. It clearly and vividly appears, but it is empty of substantial nature.
So
not like our coarse form, he said.
related
And so this is why the form itself is the union of appearance and emptiness. It is clearly appearing yet empty in essence. And this is also related to the next line, which says, train in the sound of mantra as the profound indivisibility of sound and emptiness.
Om a hong ho hakchamala waraya hong pe se ya da nga thela ta thi nga thela ko long thang tene da ni bo yer me wa chi ne tene ndong na thi ki tene nga ke cham ju gres
Kandela yang char kong ta Om a hong haksha
Om a hong ho o ta te nge lam na ni
ya
hakchamala waraya hong pe
haksha mawaraya
hakchamala waraya
mala waraya. Okay, Tini, did you like?
Oh, that tela, not of that art, that better, what not don't be got Latin, not of that. Tegogure, Carsina, same my mathematical art, all the data down, Tini, the Nake, Arawa, data down, Tini, long you put in it, yams in it, Tini, Teddy, data, horns, or that.
And so then, when with regard to the recitation of mantra, there are countless different mantras, all of these different mantras associated with the different deities. So like, for instance, with Kala Chakra, for whom we received the empowerment yesterday, then it's Om Hung Ho Haksha Mala Waraya Hung Pe. And so the meaning as we recite the mantra, the meaning of the mantra is the union of sound and emptiness. So the mantra itself is the union of the sound of emptiness. It's a wind united with the sound, and our mind is resting in single-pointed awareness in that recitation in which through the recitation of mantra we come to realize the empty essence of all sound. So it is, or the all sound is heard as mantra or perceived as mantra, the union of sound and emptiness.
Tanga to combre, ta magombe ngabla, karsina ngakar gom nan tigreta la gom, demjo gom, dorma gom, karina jirense gom, terala gom, tene jirense nga omani beme hong roa, tene be demjo nga shaha hong pi sta tene yorwa, wata ti that has a step to Mason Tambo Chadi or is.
So, Gari step tampo.
That is Tambo Watini, Ivala Tronti Gani and Roya or is.
So, Gari the nga arang step dampo daware.
Rita Nanton da to Tambo Tambo not that lie, but Jay Gomgrova. That was step Tamborella.
Okay. And so then we are meditating on the enlightened form of the deity and we're reciting the mantra, and we habituate to, whatever the mantra recitation, the visualization of the deity, whether it's chakra samvara or kala chakra or tara or chenrezig, and, with chenrezig, for instance, reciting Om Mani Padme Hum, or the quintessence mantra of chakra samvara Om Rihaha Hung Hung Pe. And so this becomes like whatever, in meditating on the deity, reciting the mantra, it's like the first step.
That is a calm now, so that was a lago, Lugom, the Jordan, somebody about comba. Then not the logic that Chaton, letting go, John Tobina. Then furthermore, Kachikosa, that now attempt it, now Tongo, then not Chiki, you, Karatongoyona, Karananguyona, Motonguyona, Karatongoyona, that you in a here, Karanga, thank you, and I here, Kari. Now, so candy. Tongu tell Nala Ranjimiba, Nanton Yermeva, Tendiji Tontuguyona, Tendes Karina Sama Yedam Resta, Lang Jimmy be Jagasambara Rojel Yedam Marestini, a can't tomba Nantoina, Tendes Retan Chatan, Karina to Somatin, Yedam Chati.
So, okay, so now to make this a little clear. So the first step is what we're kind of doing at face value. We're visualizing the deity, we're reciting the mantra. And then when that is familiarized, then we begin to have experience of the union of appearance and emptiness and the union of sound and emptiness, so that it's not just the deity, but that we start to see all phenomena as the union of appearance and emptiness, the empty essence of all phenomena, so that all phenomena becomes the deity. So it's like, we...
Tell what the able to see, Nanton, you tell me, Nanton, Tontoguyona, Nawata Tomberangina, then you tell me, Yedam.
Yeah, so that's if we're able to see that. If we're able to see all appearance as the union of appearance and emptiness, or essentially if we're able to perceive the empty essence of all phenomena that we encounter, then we can say that becomes the experience of all phenomena as the deity. So for instance, the outer environment becomes the celestial palace of the deity, all beings therein become the deity. And so it's no longer limited to the visualization, or, that we're chakra samvara or whatever we're practicing, but like mountains and trees and everything that we see becomes this expression of the union of appearance and emptiness. And so therefore all form is the enlightened form of the deity.
That particular, so that is carry Huvina, Jitensum Gong, Dala Damarti, Bida, Sonroa. Ta Jitensum Gong Rojeketa, Koranka Da, Magaka Tonguyona, Ta Nala, nobody Kongida or Konga Magaka Konga Da, Cherry, some Nawari. 티 ngowatil second tigarana ko tomba thonro gres 티 ta drati ta yidam chabarwa
So second chikla tongpa chagire or la chagire gongda yabokomaso.
de tomba chagro ta thongo thabo na thona ko la automatically chabarwa
And so in particular, for instance, where we really feel the impact of this is when we have, for instance, grasping to perceiving phenomena in a particular way, like, for instance, as Lord Jigten Sumgön says, all mother sentient beings, especially those enemies who hate me. So if we have perceived enemies or those that we have a lot of aversion to, that we perceive in a particular way, then say, for instance, as a result of our generation stage practice, when we see that individual and in that very instant of seeing that individual, we see their empty essence. We see that they're
enemy.
Enemy. We see that individual who's the enemy. And in that very moment, we see their empty essence. We see them as the union of appearance and emptiness. We no longer identify them as that person, that enemy. And then in that moment, they become the deity. And so that is what Lord Jigten Sumgön saw. And that is what he is instructing us to do with those lines.
다 대가 나기 가서 data 공존에 다 data 공존도 가서 다 beginner step 당보 data라 나 요리라 오마니 베메 홈다리 두다리 소알라서 바 요르와 다 딜이야 furthermore 사이다 카페너 세나리 tel라 다 베는 매직 베는 enemy 제게 초랑베 두보레 다 초랑베 쿠파레 초랑뇽바레 다 가리나베 초랑작바레 갈라구요나로와 텔람나 근데 거래 엄청 거그래 이나다 first 거그래 second라 디고 동바 통나 동바래 원데 동바라와 동바래 통통나 근데 단기게 다게 두볼라 처마데 나 차노 그래스
So then, likewise, the same thing happens with sound. So when we recite mantra is the union of sound and emptiness. So whether it's Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Tare Tu Tare, etc., or whatever mantra that we're reciting, then that is the union of sound and emptiness. And as a result of that, like mantra recitation, then the same thing happens with sound. So even, words, we have so much grasping to.
The first step.
So the first step is the recitation of the mantra. The second step is when we penetrate the nature of sound. In our experience, we understand the union of sound and emptiness, where we overcome. Ordinarily, we have so much grasping around what we hear, the content of what we hear. So in the same way that when we see the empty essence of our enemy, and they become thereby the deity, when we hear unpleasant words, if someone calls us stupid or ugly, or whatever it is, that they might, whatever harmful words we might hear, criticism, things that we normally react to with grasping, or likewise, anything we would react to with positive grasping, that all sound just becomes the expression of the union of sound and emptiness. And so there is no impact. It's just empty sound. It's just mantra. And so especially when we can hear hurtful words or negative words, and those are seen as, we see them as the union of sound and emptiness, then in that moment of understanding the empty nature of that sound, automatically they become mantra.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Right.
Okay. 다 테리 다 작동 예미 ngaji da stri 다 근데 노디스리즘
nga랑
du
mu maybe
du togum tv riton tok 다 dorje zomje 다 디나다 gom tv riton tok sta du je insari peje
du je ja den da nang singerian
Oda tela da the return to this. Da tons. Aleta teridon du jita de. Tanga to return the same canal da requadi requa korean tombaris returns on doit. Da karsina terid nanton chakton return say diorwa.
So likewise, when we train an enlightened mind as the union of awareness and emptiness, or we train in the enlightened mind as the union of awareness and emptiness, unconditioned and free of conceptual meditation. So the meditation is also the enlightened mind of the deity is the union of awareness and emptiness. So we have the union of appearance and emptiness as the deity's enlightened form. We have the union of sound and emptiness as the deity's enlightened speech. And we have the union of awareness and emptiness as the deity's enlightened mind. And this is what is referred to as the three Vajras. This is what is meant by the three Vajras. So it says, train in the ultimate mandala of the three Vajras. So in this way, train in the ultimate mandala of the three Vajras. Or in other words, Vajra, body, speech, and mind. And so then it says, the king of your own awareness, so the three Vajras and likewise the three Kayas, so the king of your own awareness is the Dharmakaya. So when the Dharmakaya is seen, then this is like the king of views or the king of your own awareness.
Tendi kita nawa tamji rikpe kita ta tinan tongsona tenin kunde jente longchu zobebe sta nga so de korwa ta nyangelen de ba nga so jenchan rawo jire sta tema to kunde jiri ta korwa ina dogo imba nyangelen de ba sanga imba ta nga so sambo nyamba ya do ji yorwa tendi ri jalen de sonde ta nga so jenchan rawo be pena chake lonchu zobdo ku jenchi juk som yorwa jencha se tangu dan da de karse bore ringa la so ba yorwa ta tenangi tin chano gres.
And so then likewise, so when this king of awareness is seen, or that then all samsara and nirvana becomes the ornament, like the splendor of the Sambhogakaya. It's all just ornamentation. So the ornamentation of samsara and nirvana is the splendor of the Sambhogakaya. So when this true essence of awareness is seen, or one abides within the recognition of the Dharmakaya, then all the phenomena of samsara and nirvana become the ornamentation or the ornament of the Sambhogakaya. So ordinarily, there's no longer this duality of samsara and nirvana, or the grasping of samsara being inferior, being worse, or being the nature of suffering, and nirvana being better, but all of it just becomes display, the ornamental display of the innate nature.
Okay, so tenida simchen kachap dundu tuwe sta tendi ina tene simchen tamjik tongla tuwe gu tone tene ndowa tamjik tene ndowa tongja chimuchi tuwe.
And so then the taming of beings, sentient ones equal to space, is the Nirmanakaya. So in this recognition of the Dharmakaya, in which all appearance becomes the ornamentation or the splendor of the Sambhogakaya, then the activity in the world becomes this spontaneous activity that achieves the benefit of sentient beings. So all becomes an expression of benefit.
사카리 두숨 되바래.
Do some.
Okay, 두숨 된데 maybe 올라가고. Okay.
So then it says, meditate on the Lama, the essence that is the indivisibility of the three times.
다 텐데지 뭐 단계 네트고나 텐데 두좀들라 테네 데미 오다 텐서 다 가래 다 들라 텐데 다 되지 다 예담 다 디휴라다 안가서 텐서 라마 차고 서와
Gandula?
라마 차고서 다 안가서 디 베나간데 지관으로도 가서 나가서 창접세만 예담라 라마 차자 침보이 다 라마 틀라고 서리
So here also, the Lama is the essence, the essence, this ultimate essence in which there is the indivisibility of the three times. So here also we're following the progressive stages of the path because we've been through, the preliminary bodhicitta and meditation on the Yidam deity, and now Guru Yoga. So like, for instance, in the five-fold path of Mahamudra, that corresponds with like Kaya Guru Yoga.
데니다 두솜틀라 손에다 두솜틀라 데네 제와 메바 데네 모테 에다 모응가서 자벨라마라고 자와 라마 라마데다 가서 쉬임바 라마텔라 양 라마지디 제기요마레 라마다 예담다 랑샘다 예르메와라와 오텐디텔라 데네 공그레스.
And so this essence, like of the root Lama, is the representation or the embodiment of this essence that transcends the three times. That is the nature of the indivisibility of the three times. And as was mentioned yesterday, also we talked a lot about the meaning of the Lama, and that the Lama is actually that these are all in indivisibility. The Lama, the Yidam, the true nature of one's own mind.
that in 가서 데려와다 라마데 가서 휴가래 되네 다 가서 라마데 곰구요래 되네 당기지 휴송 상제 다트 탱그래 다 단단데 직바래 다 라메 켄nen조르 지디 라마 곰구요래 라마데 곰드 라마테야 저랑서데 라마데 뭐 가래 곰나 되거래 라마도 제정 뭐 지나 되기요래 라마 건도 성봉 뭐 지나 되기요래 라마데 가르세나 되네 상제 그거라 this lela 다 라마데 양 삼랭 가서 강사 라마데라 되네 조원직된 송공대가 조원직된 송공도 섬제메 샤워로 조원직된 송공게 다 뭐네 지 냠렌 치야게 거라베 섬제메 차비게 책 대인도 거라 강사 레신다 치에네 빼나 차샤와나 당은 뭔가 히트송고 달라마데 라마 간데주나 곰거래 라마 섭다 간데 저 라마데 곰거래 송고 조원직된 송고 텐데 뭐야 요 말에 저라 라마 간데 라마 누그래 이나야 라마 텔라 간데지 곰거래 라나 라마데 양무나 도르제 창고 곰거래 예송 속 도르제 창인바 속 도르제 창이나 라마 군두로와 군두디요 도르제 창나 차상 두디요래 저나 자유 라마이나 티난 두디요와 상제랑 티랑도디요래 되면은 동바 샥자도 봐 곰거래 예송 다 티인데 상제 도르제 창다 모자벨라마 임바 칸셰글라 근데 근데 노르진 창라고 보나 노르진 창라 좀 데다 종구지 연탄군데 zon레다 종군 세바 연탄군데 말와 상지 어떻게 곰나
제
연탄군데 마스 어떻게 곰거스 가서 레라 그래 손 강가 소소모네 레라 그러와 다 가서 등장직 된데 강사 총말라 넘버 도코만 보여래 individually 넘버 도코만 보여래 그가 나 신비게 다 가려 열라비나 직된비게 다 ordinary 라마이나 좀만 보여래 근데 인도 니마직배 대바자 진보요래 양 니마직 대바며 차는 거고 어제지 지내오다 텔레 테네다 라마 강이나 인팅모다 도진 차나 곰그레스 베나다 타나가도 점로 추징나도 와 점로 추징나 지도게다 도진 차네 말아 곰그요래 테인드네 다 대곰네 베나 양상로이나 그런보지 샤샤요다 단 그런보지 곰디나 테네 되게요래다 자벨라마 예르메면 그런보지리 대가 나중에서 까지 클라마라고 있나 다 되네야 이제 자벨라마 도진 창네 우 도제 도진 창네 향슈 라스트 도진 창 차디요 그래서 어다 도진 창디 고 자벨라마 차데 거로 어다 드네 곰나 맞아 때
last like the tokala.
다 drop 도진 창 좋아
So when we practice Guru Yoga, so this is very important, like, so it's the essence, one's root lama, what we're relating to, of course, there's the root lama who like guides us on the path, but the essence that we are connecting with is the essence that is the ultimate essence, which is symbolized by Vajradhara, or Samantabhadra. Or you can actually, when visualizing the Lama, so one can visualize whether it's, in the tradition of Mahamudra, usually Vajradhara, the tradition of Dzogchen, maybe Samantabhadra, or also often the Buddha Shakyamuni. And Lord Jigten Sumgön really emphasizes the importance of this. Lord Jigten Sumgön is so profound, like his words are inconceivably just so perfect and precise and profound in meaning. And there have been, there are all these kind of like different, often he sort of cuts through, what other ideas may be, just in this very sort of concise and to pith way that really kind of speaks the truth. And so, for instance, there are some who would say, oh, well, one can meditate on the root lama like in their ordinary form. That's easier. You can more easily connect with the lama and visualize them in their ordinary form. But Lord Jigten Sumgön says that it's not that way. It's very important that the form of our lama be that of Vajradhara or the Buddha Shakyamuni, because all like the root guru and the enlightened essence of all of the lamas, all of the Buddhas are contained within the form of Vajradhara, within the form of or Shakyamuni Buddha. And that's what we're connecting with, is that essence, that primordial essence. The ordinary form of our spiritual teachers or our lama, it sort of is a mix of faults and qualities. So we want to only connect with the enlightened qualities, the essence of the root lama's mind, that essence that is the essence of the mind of all the Buddhas. And so this is actually easier because it maintains the purity of our view. It maintains the purity of our perception. Any individual, an individual who is, like incarnate in this world has, all sorts of different concepts at times, because everybody has faults, one day we might have like really strong faith towards our spiritual teacher, and then that's unreliable. It can change and become doubt, or can become a lack of faith. But when we are visualizing the Lama as Vajradhara, then that is that essence that is completely free of stain, completely free of any fault, and that is the essence that we are connecting with in our practice. And we see that in, for instance, the representation of the refuge tree. In the refuge tree, we have at the center Vajradhara, who represents the root lama, and Vajradhara is also at the top, as the source of the lineage, or kind of the ultimate embodiment of the lineage. And so this is a really important like aspect, you know, of our practice. Take do it.
Yeah.
That's good.
So maybe do you have some questions? Okay.
Oh, and is there a way that we can get amplification so the people on Zoom can hear the questions?
Or maybe need to go there, I think.
This, so everybody, this microphone is for people on Zoom,
Yeah,
and then otherwise
we'll hear you in the room.
So let's just do it. Yes, okay. Oops. Since we have that's the one in here. Are you unmuted?
Yes.
Just- I think you're following.
Sound and emptiness.
Looks are not emptiness, very loud.
Just
Okay.
test.
Okay.
You won't hear it. You're just the people on Zoom. It's not coming through yet. Start.
Hello.
Okay. Is it? Try now.
Hello.
Oh,
Okay.
perfect. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so I hope I say this, I don't say it backwards. So what if you see your llama is all the same? Like everything is your llama. Like your llama is that primordial wisdom. Like your llama is should be. Oh, shoot, it should be. So it's the opposite of what you were just saying, that you should see everything as Samatavajra. So what if you see it the other way, that everything, like it's inseparable, like your llama is inseparable, so everything is your llama? Is that a mistake?
Ri tati mistake da mari ina yang ta ngaso lama jiri ngaso lam tenyen tela chadi yorwa. Tieni da jetang yedam te dobya ji yorwa. Ina zo lama tela ko khangza chi ngaso lam tenyen landor tenyen tela samgo yores.
Ore yena garsi pena ngatsong data garela ure sena pena de nangtong yerme yena dene pena tsangma dena de gare de pena yeah, so I'm having a hard time just making the distinction between how that's different from what was said, because I'm sort of hearing it as the same thing. But the pena rang de garsi nangwa tamche rangi lama yemba tongna kanere de norware be digdue yang pena
하고
lama nangwa sangma yemba ma yemba, but nangwa sangma lama yemba.
이런 되게 돼서.
Yeah, that's okay.
ina yang but
Originally, he said ordinary form. So I think
Right,
the
right.
distinction is
That's the
different.
distinction. Yeah. So rather than seeing, yeah. Anyway, okay.
okay ina yang ngazola tanda di thame bala lama tela lama di lam tengen de thong yores. Ngazo thakbe namala high level, yes, everything is lama. That's okay. Ina yang ta tanda ngazo la be kabla yang lama tela lama tengu yorwa. Otati pena yidam ro hla ro ina nyamlen che yarwa.
Yena de so lagi samare de lagi ukayan sana pena kashe yang pena sangma rang lama gangza yemba yena de gangza de so yemba dawo chorne de nangwa thamche de lama gangza de lama dawo yemba dawo samna pena.
Rita
Can
tanda
give
nila
it.
imba.
Okay.
Rita lama te ko lama shago gurwa.
Yeah. So there's kind of the distinction, that's right, yeah, and that's okay. And like and also, but there's sort of like two places, I think what he's saying is there's kind of like two ways in which we kind of have to also be a little aware of. And one being that, you know, so the Lama who is the ordinary individual, or who's the individual, not ordinary, but the individual that is the Lama, is the one who is guiding us on the path. And then there's like, you know, in their human form. And then there's sort of the ultimate meaning of the Lama. And that is also like a very high level in which, like, as you say, everything, you know, is the, can be seen as the pure appearance of the Lama, the pure appearance of the Yidam. But that also is at a very high level, and until then we also need the guidance of the Lama who is embodied as a human to guide us on the path. Although I know that's not what you were saying exactly, right? I mean, it sounds like you were saying that the Lama, that the principal thing is the Lama, and then all appearances, is that what you, yeah.
No, yeah, so I was saying, what if like, you know, you see the deity, but every deity is, you see as your Lama.
Yeah.
Like you, like as one, like everything is your Lama. You see your Lama as the Buddha the 3 times. You see the Lama as Shakyamuni, Buddha, but you see your Lama.
Yes. But I think, yeah, this I think, right, your ultimate level, that's perfect, you know, good. But we call this, we own the path, relative, we can say maybe relative level is have to separate it. So because the Lama is the give the instruction, show the path. So like Yidam, we can practice Yidam, but the Yidam cannot show the path. So like for example, actually this very important part is the two difference. Like for example, what is the, I think Marba, right? Marba. I think a story, I think, Naroba is there, and then the Marba saw the Yidam directly. And then, so kind of Marba confusing, what do we do? Or maybe prostration to Lama or prostration to Yidam. So then things cause sort of like he has likaba attached to Yidam. So he prostration to the Yidam. So then says, yeah, that's, so the difference, so this mistake, because of the Lama is more important than Yidam. So that can have to have your prostration to the Naroba. That's more important. But sometimes we have, sometimes, you know, peer review. I said, okay, Lama inseparable Vajradhara, or Lama inseparable Lord Jigten, or Lama inseparable Buddha. But at the same time, like, main thing is the Lama there. So because the ordinarily Lama shows to the path, even though they say what is Buddha, what to say?
Yeah, so they say the Lama is even more kinder than the Buddha. The kindness of the Lama is even kinder than the kindness of the Buddha, because it is the Lama who actually appears and shows us, you know, the way, or guides us on the path. And I think that's what Beth was saying, kind of, right? Because you're saying all the Yidam, like every Yidam you're seeing as your Lama, and so it is kind of like that story of Naropa and Marpa.
Can you just, could you just explain what Drupon said about Marpa, just a little bit about?
So there's this story, okay, can the young Tarlapna Degenerate?
Just,
so there is, so the story of one time when Naropa actually, it was Naropa who manifested the Yidam deity, or the deity appeared. Marpa was there, and Naropa was there, and Marpa had been practicing the deity, and the mandala of the deity like appeared vividly, in this space to Marpa, and Marpa was sort of like, oh, the Lama and the Yidam, and who do I prostrate to? And then he was like, and he said maybe he was a little attached to the Yidam, so he prostrated to the Yidam. And then actually Naropa told him, I think there was more to it, but anyway, he told him that was a mistake because actually the Yidam, like without the Lama, there is no Yidam.
Okay.
So
right,
really
thank
the
you.
most important is the Lama, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
We have one person online.
Okay.
Simone, you can unmute.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Lamala. Greetings from Chile. I have a question. I have some experience with Buddhism. I've been practicing for 11 years, but now that I'm learning Tibetan, when they refer to the different yidams, they generally use yidam hla. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right, but it's like this word for deity. If I'm not mistaken, yid is like mine, and dam is like commitment or something like that. But I cannot still like kind of like wrap my head around like what does hla like deity exactly mean, because if I'm not mistaken, Buddhas or the different Buddhas are not a deity, are not a god or a divinity or something like that. So how to understand exactly what is a yidam la hla deity? Like, is it an archetype, an enlightened archetype? Is it, because if I'm not mistaken, they're beyond gods. So how to kind of understand it?
ri hla se ya de ta de na di nga zo de yidam hla lama hla ta buddha hla tela pe sin thombo ji res ta na nga zo ki bena hla se ya hla ki yu se ya ji orwa god se ya te mares.
Yeah, so this word hla, which is like so we hear in the case of yidam hla, or in these types of hla, we do translate it as deity, and then of course but it's perfect. Your question is a good one because it's the same word that we use that means deva, like the devas are gods of the god realms. And so this is, but when we're using it in this context, like yidam hla, or also lama hla, or sanjay hla, like which we can say divine. Maybe in that case we can translate it as divine, like the divine yidam, the divine guru, the divine Buddha. But it's not the same as like a god. That's not to mean God in the sense that we think of gods or those kinds of deities. Yeah. Does that? Is there more to? Do you want to clarify more? Or?
No, do you check? Thank you.
I have kind of a follow-up to that. Okay, yeah.
Maybe can you?
Is there anyone else?
That's good. This is for people on Zoom.
Okay, yeah.
But I do have another question. Maybe I can phrase it now, perhaps.
Okay.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay. So my question is, I do have some experience with tantric practice, but I don't know, maybe I'm dumb, I don't know, but I think Dzogchen and Mahamudra are just practices or concepts that are kind of beyond me. So what is like a tip or maybe an instruction how to approach this as like first approach, or how to start familiarizing with it? Because of course I've been reading it about that for years and I kind of understand it conceptually, but that's not what it's really about. So how to kind of approach it?
Tipo
Te kong yang pena te lo mambo de mambo lo yore chaje chimbo zopa chimbo yang chikchina kong kupa re la yore yana de kong nuni chini zogjin dang chaje chimbo pena rangi tseji le hansaya togi yujire sam yorwa gayen sena kong hako pena de sim samlo tangne te sahako tupa yemba nangshin yena nune nyamyongi tola yang gande yemba chune hako gyo mare to otsor gyo re teni di yang hako yaki chidu gande koko gere
레이다 레이 초랑 라바테 덴바레 스틴다 기타가 좀 좋다고 치비나 람 렘바 힌드 단다 공투나 이래 가서다 온도 프로그램 요로와 렘바 힌드 드로네 테네 야 장네 테네 라메 키티마도 onganeta 지 차조 개체디 가서 라메 맹아 세야디 냠용요냐지 맹아레다디 고 기타가 가서 베나 남도도 지 소쇼로 탭디 디샤나 남도 소시 말와 소행 말에 자자 고 남도 소행에지 게되네 게다리 장고로 와 어ten나기 경가도다디 고 라마 냠용탐 nemba 찌게 토네 되네 라마 바힌도 로고 그래서
So you're actually, you know, that this is a really, like, you're not wrong, actually, that it's true that these are really high levels of experience in direct practice, like what Dzogchen and Mahamudra really are, you know. So it is actually something that should be pursued at the appropriate time by going through the progressive stages of the path and training with a qualified teacher, with a lama who can really guide you step by step through the progressive stages of the path. Because especially when it comes to, you know, Mahamudra and Dzogchen, this is primarily based on the lama's pith instructions, having the foundation of having gone through the progressive stages of the path. And so, you know, like, for instance, he said, if somebody were to give you a book, or if you were to try to learn how to fly a plane,
make the plane.
Well, make a plane. Make a plane based on like an instruction manual, you know, or just reading a book without somebody like really actually like showing you, guiding you through that practice. Probably 100% you're not going to figure out how to make a plane on your own. But so you need to study with someone who knows, who has experience. You have to train, they have to guide you through that process, and then you come to understand. And so it's the same, you know, with Mahamudra and Dzogchen. You really have to rely on the guidance, instruction, and, you know, experience of a qualified teacher.
related this pensarisan도 가장 가서 되기나 저랑 가장 요위나 맞아 왕강라 되네 디 가서 유년세야라고 하다 so this 티어로 so mistake 지야라 항상 유스기레스
And so, like, similarly, you know, if you were here yesterday during the empowerment, and when he spoke about, you know, how easy it is to misunderstand things, like, for instance, in the context of union, and how, like, there can be a really, you know, it's kind of fertile territory for a lot of mistaken ideas.
대가나기다 적천도 조나나 갈티어서 적천 작전도 조나나 대바로 고구마레 대바방 고구마레 huge theories.
So, and, you know, for instance, like in a lot of the literature, you know, of both Dzogchen and Mahamudra, you know, it's sort of like there is no duality, there is no good and bad, there is no virtue and non-virtue, and words like this. So without correctly understanding this, it can lead to some like really big errors.
Hello. I've noticed, because we're talking about the word lama, I've noticed Tibetans pride themselves on having these really accurate translations of Sanskrit words. But I'm just wondering, is there a reason the word lama, as I understand it, it's not the same as the Sanskrit word guru?
Yeah, it's sort of, there's an echo. Is there something we can do to fix? Okay.
Did you hear what I was saying before?
No.
I heard it, but he probably
Okay.
didn't make it up.
Basically,
But
let me
explain
give the
it.
essence. Tibetans like pride themselves on having these really accurate translations of Sanskrit words. But since we're talking about the word lama, I noticed, as far as I understand it, it looks to be very different broken down than the word guru, the etymology. Is there like a reason behind that? Because the other words are very like in accord with the Sanskrit, and some there's just
Yeah, I don't know what guru means in Sanskrit actually. Dene de buba yuna chit hum kongso pe pena de lecture ke git yang buke degarang nang shin dena de yemba ge dundat has ke chembo yore sam ge yore wa yena lama lapna de guru dang chikpa rawo yojuma de dang gimsen che yore be.
라마스는 구루스는 돈나카리스.
What does guru mean?
Guru, I've read, gu is like a Sanskrit root guna, which means qualities, and ru means heavy with qualities.
Oh.
That's one.
So dene gu kong denda ko song gu sena yunden dene ru sena de jigot sapo dene yunden la jigot sapo rawo de yunden mambo yokin rawo.
다 라마 다 돈다데 배체 나우요사레스. 라메키 돈다베 망보요레 라나메바 코나메바 자체보이마 배체 나우요사레스.
So he thinks actually it's maybe not so different because lama, there's lots of ways you can break down the meaning of lama, but the la part is usually like lana mepa, which is like unsurpassed or supreme or, kind of, so it's not so different from qualities, right? Then ma ke tunda kandayina.
Hello. Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Yes. Okay. Regarding the Kala Chakra empowerment that we received yesterday, there is a distinction between the father tantras and the mother tantras because we want the illusory body and with the other one the clear light. So
So you're saying, so are you asking whether Kala Chakra is father tantra or mother tantra?
No. I'm asking what is the advantage to basically practice Kala Chakra or the disadvantage about the other tantras, because usually people practice any of the Jidans for the father or mother tantras, but the Kala Chakra belong to a specific type of tantra. And I would like to know what is the distinction, what is the advantage and the disadvantage.
Of practicing, is Kala Chakra non-dual?
Non-dual.
Yeah, non-dual. Yeah, so so your question is what is the advantage or disadvantage of practicing Kala Chakra being belonging to the category of non-dual tantra rather than father and mother?
Correct.
And you said something about illusory body, and I didn't catch that.
Yes, because with the father tantra, like Guyasamaha, we can attain the illusory body.
Yeah.
With the mother tantra, like Chakrasambhara or Heruka Vajrayogini, with Vajrayogini or Varabarahi, we basically attain clear light. So with Kala Chakra, what we get?
Kosonge. So teni di gayansana de pena dendafla yang de lana mebeju gila mambo yore teni kashe yang maju paju teni di nimeju yembala chitang gayansana pena de Sangdu yena pacher julu toya ki opinion yore. Teni yang de pajurawa. Teni majula bena de dimcho pagmo yang de usel toya ki tabrawa. Teni garsi de nimeju pena dukur gomna teni kare tokere lapsong.
다 이제 지나 텐디 유지레스 이나 등고 가서 조독 도와 조독 나나 배제 보세 유지레 이나 양 다디 양고다 배제 차탕지 텐디 유세기로와 조동치 마도 베게 벨람 파모라 조독 요레스 조독 타모고미야라 파모 요레스 텐디 참말로라 베네제도당 상두당 등고당 저 참마다 주로 요리스다 등고도 맹만다도 주로 라고도 인사 제치나 전화대 등고를 줄루 하던 되거지레스 되something
So he said, it's not actually like so separate, or distinct, because actually all of these deities of highest yoga tantra, they have their own completion stage yogas that are very similar. So like, for instance, he mentioned the other day the 6 branches that are like the 6 yogas, in which all of those, illusory body, Tumo, all of them are there, clear light. So it's just that there's like some differentiation, a little bit different in terms of difference in terms of semantics, but it's really pretty much the same thing. And he thinks maybe that actually Kala Chakra maybe you can think that it may be connected particularly with illusory body, but he's not sure. But Kala Chakra possesses all of them, just as they all do.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so maybe you want short break.
I think there's 2 more questions here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it seems that the primary cause of mischief in our lives is the grasped at self. Because of grasping, we have a sense of separateness, otherness, isolation, alienation, and so on. And so that a primary need is to give up this grasping at self. In the light of this afternoon's session, I'm wondering, is there a sense in which the grasp at self can also be looked at as the union of appearance and emptiness, so that even that grasped at self actually is deity, in which case there is actually no problem caused by grasping at self, because it's all indivisible wholeness and so on. So that's the question anyway, really, is can that grasped at self be looked at as the union of appearance and emptiness?
So kongi de ngatso tenda zambuling de nangla nyokta pachet sangma dagzen ne yong yorwa dungal sangma dagzen ne yongware deni yang de rang shen yang tenda de kaka yemba ge truwa de latene jungi yore deni yang ngatso ge yang pena shen la yang drawa garela kokre tes kaka yembagi dushi deni yang dangsim cheya ki jimsen na sopa sama dagzen gi chun ne yongi yojere niena pena data chiki yang de nangwa thongpa yerme ba de sama nangwa sama la yemba sungne deni kong samsong chik china dagzen rang dagzen yona yang de daktu zimbe gi da de hla yemba gi dushi chene deni yang hla yemba gi dushi chene yang nangwa sama tena de hla yemba gi dushi chene de nangtong yerme gi dushi chene deni chik chena dagzen de hansaya ducha yemba yang sama go adawo yemba tenda dawo re
Really, that's great.
Really good.
That's really
You
good.
said yes.
네, 당가서 디 Nantong Hakon.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, well, that would be the next question. How not to make that into a concept and then lose it and grasp at that, yeah.
Tini,
Take a listen.
yena tena te pena, yena yang dila yang tena zimba dawo chena tini chik chena yang te nor sigirawa tini
Really,
gande
that
te
was a
machaya te machaya
Nantong
te
say it was. Nantong say di ngato ji Nantong ngato sogu yo marwa. Ko Nantong say di ta ngato every second lem logo des. Nantong kana nang batagana tene tongba ngo he tamato ngato Nantong dodo ji sem de ayo maris. Ko tati you logo ndo logo des.
So the thing is this expression of appearance and emptiness is very dynamic. It's constantly changing. So there's no grasping possible, really, when you're really perceiving this essence, because every second there's change. So what we can't do, or what won't work, is if we kind of latch on to a concept of this thing called appearance and emptiness and try to stamp it on our experience. Like that doesn't work.
Thank you, Drupon. As you were speaking about the relationship between the meditation on the Yidam and the subsequent realization of the emptiness of sound within the recitation of the mantra, and the emptiness of form and the visualization of the deity, and that being the foundation into the stage of guru yoga, in which that realization can be further established within the various levels of our direct experience. This is the way that I'm understanding at a very superficial level what you're speaking to, and I want to just make sure that that is a correct understanding in terms of the progression. And additionally, how that relates to our level of concept. What was coming up in as you were teaching was a section from the Precious Ornament, where Gampopa speaks to, I forget the name of the category, but it's like, it's a shame if one has realization in meditation and doesn't apply the view in post-meditation. And so the connection that my mind is making is that, we can have an experience potentially in meditation of the emptiness of form or sound, etc. But at that stage, our mind is still so imbued by concept that out in daily life, that can be quite easily lost. And so that the stage of guru yoga is like a further establishment of practicing that out in the world at various levels of experience. Does that make sense?
The last part I felt a little bit confused about, but I was following you up to guru yoga. That's okay. I think it'll, yeah. So rimpa shindu dawo dona dini pena la yedam gomne dini de pena nangtong yerme de la ge zo gomne dini de la tene yang nangtong yerme yang kale to ya ke yang judawo chagade dini de je la yang de nga dangne ge la tene dini yang ratong yang tope ge tap dawo chagi opa dini yang de le ting ringwa do do dini lama penachi lama gomne gi tene dini pena the young ringwa young ting ringwa drawo zoa doa gi young top drawo chagi yore dini denda nangshin yang pena de drotang denda drawo rebe dang kasi pena rangi nyamnyong la dapo tarjin nangla tini yapo tata dingi omare yena de chek sungi orwa de kampopa ge pena de gom nangla nene garsi nyamnyong yona de tokpa drawo yona yena jito kala lagna tini pe de kare lago kare chola drawo re dena drawo chek sungi osare tata dingi omare kare sungba yena dene de la tene pena garsi rang gombe kala kasi nyamnyong chik jung na pena de nangtong yerme gi nyamnyong jung sigere yang na de datong yerme yembage yang nyamnyong jung sigere wa yena yang ngatso dadung tenda namto pe chitang mambo yoba ge jimsen la tene jito kala yang pacher pena de chulam la de yang kyongya kale kabo yojire yang be le lapo lak drogere. I mean, the only thing I didn't fully get was like the last part about the guru yoga question that you answered and that you ended on in terms of like, is there still in daily life, it can be easily lost. So, and then you said something like, I think it's okay to just leave it at that. Okay. Okay, we'll see what, yes.
Really, odati yabore strihi. Tiendita jatang ngasota re of course the nyamji yermeva toyate kechemores. Yimbi na yadati chingaso tandalela wazanigo mares.
So, first of all, like, yeah, good question. And yeah, it's really not easy to get to the point where it is sustained in post-meditation. They speak of, the indivisibility of meditation and post-meditation, but that is a very high level. It's not easy to get there.
Yina yang ta ngaso tabhi chigre stendita jatanko samre ngaso de ina zo karsena tereda ngaso nyamji ni miwa yuya de kecheho ta kari yongore labina te yonggo도와 karsena ngaso ji karsena sem chabo mayimba 직다 남도 샤르지기리 남도 샤그리티나 고직 남도 어디 만지야 알아와 가서 제타한테 좀 그래. 샤르 투냠 정도와 남도 샤르와 다 토노야로 틴리키서 뭐 당거 맞다 딱 고직 가서
샤르 두
투냠 이나다 틴리로 다다 지 타기 치그레 세나다데 고직 가서 예톱 관광자 되어나 이용하여 말이스 고도 유코랑 가라와
So, but that doesn't mean we should just not try to do, we still have to try, we still have to apply practice. But rather than expecting to sustain the same experience that we might have in meditative absorption and post-meditation, what we can do more is and what is actually more productive in a way, he said, because we can't do that. We have to function in the world too. So he said the main thing is that we can try not to be rigid in our minds. So because thoughts will arise, but we practice, not having as much grasping to those thoughts. We allow those thoughts to become softer. And as we have a lighter relation to our thoughts, to our concepts, then eventually, we have the ability for thoughts to be liberated upon arising. So there is mention of or a term that's like simultaneous arising or shining forth of a thought and its liberation, so that it's just like the thought is there and it passes and it doesn't, it's not so solid, there's not so much fixation, it's not so rigid. And so this is how we can sort of practice maintaining our meditation and post-meditation in this way, because, we do, that was what yeah.
Drupon Law, it is now 4:30. You had asked some minutes ago, I think before the previous question, about possibly taking a break. And I wanted to ask if, given the time, you wanted to continue through with questions, or perhaps we could stop for a break, and then perhaps I did have a question online about whether or not we might receive lung for the co-emergent Kalashakra sadhana in this afternoon, this session. And I just wanted to check in with you and see how you would like to proceed.
Okay.
Denichi de Penangaso Driwa Kashi let Yorwa, Denichi Ochik China Parsing Che Go Gereve La Yorwa, Denimo Samsung Da Driwa Pena de online La Driwa Check that do, Denichi Gariche Go Gendo de Driwa de Driwa Lena Yangna Garci de Barsang Tung Tung Che Go Na Deni Yang de Driwa de the lung shugirawa, the druta lung. Yeah. So
the that person is person only person
yeah, so maybe not a break now, because we don't have much time left, and so before there was a little bit of time for a break, but maybe not anymore.
So you say one question there?
That was the question, right?
Yeah,
yes,
or
the
was
question was, did you want to proceed with questions or potentially take a brief break and then do the lung?
Okay. Yeah, and the question online was about the lung,
yes,
right?
Correct.
Yeah.
That long means.
Yeah, so he can give the transmission.
Then if they have time after the long, so there may be if there's questions.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think there are any more questions.
No,
if there are, yeah.
So call the text.
We may have another question online. Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
So chikchina kungso de lung nangwe kala ganre chego la na.
Okay, so then relax, meditation, and listening. So I'm reading the long. Be tujen kolo, senje je do ta toni yuni je jawa, asho so. So namo guru wang towa jian tam zi dang ni be zhe ba wu tung guo lian jie. Zhuo jian yang zi lang wa la tu zhuo la so ba jiang ju de jie nie kang rong wa tung guo lian jie jie zhi ge yang lan du de ka ra to ro bian mei jie gu ro wa du dun qiu ba jin jiu ra yang la ngu to ro tang ji dian. Ke dorma la so ba dang dong di nang chu xiang du zi nye ba ba du cha dap de wa ran do na rang ni gi je ki jim den di bi ti jen ko lo len ji ji we ko ro se wa ra cho on be ga ne da da re da hong bi mo so bo xu da sa wa da mo so bo xu da dong ma ji de xiao dong men ga le yam le long ram le me ye jin ko ji de do ma hong le to bi je so la ne be a le ka ba la yang xi da che wa nam je nang do u ta cho ye hong om kang ang Tam tam bam la ma bam dam le de zeng a tang zhong bang a qiu bei rang rang ge song wu jian sen ba long yu me ba ra xin gu ru bei song wu da ji ba na ma xiu wa ni ma jia ra ga de wu kan do jian ti lang ba le zhou bei wu jun do da ra ka ra ga wo de da wa ti ni ju dan de ye de mi de de wei den de ong a yi wu ri ri li wo ga 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 de zhe ye da 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 na bo 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 yara la wa sha ka sa ha ja yong so chur ba le o ma hu de ne de ne ba le jing go je la na ma zhu sim jian ye tong ji nyong ba xiu yi ge zong ma tai yi ge zong tan ge de sta ni si mi ba ra chuo qin jie lao xian yang 亲戚老些娘，我住给东中嘛，亲老了，边过了节卡节，老快一个，啥都要家了，就不得知道别些子，我们的阿布嘛，那个那也得我用把人都这样，那都什么呀？那都是我是的没把也真的也得。ya de ra ben da be wa da na ma de da ma da ma sa ba ka da ya si so kan be de sa ya ga ba do be so la ye so na ma le ba le so na ma le no ji so na ma le ba so na ma le ba ji so na ma le ba ji da so na ma le ba de so na ma le ba ji so na ma le ba ji so na ma le 看着走那么累吧，我们走那么累吧，嘛累吧呢？他们到的去到那工作上去，一点嘛得起来呢，就老家可以，那每次到我就到别当他那干啥那龙去这个，他就其他去了所以来讲我说到了做同济到了做，我说跟你个的做同济，那那那当东那个那些帮助呢，没让人打车嘛呢，现在呢没有做，今天这个路当初咱们说的，一两多把工作说，我们这边干的，但是我们我们说不去的时候，我们说不去的，东北你这个东北俺哪里特别多呀。 特别弄那的红，有时候就把连穷些不是没到多，那在这些些什么那么唐先也头花米把钱有时间跟那什么那么多了。穷就被地方的，把我当那什么那几把钱你把它叫安边咋？干把那不对吧？那个年对不对？晓得把那在说大团的说那是长久就没几把它就对什么地，把他们结果什么原来出来变我就把这些帮助了这些。 바베긴 담지쟁하다 tenyedo da jibar jibar banana ma sama na jo ina jigar da no san jimne de no jo tami jo no jo babekin ne bo ngolo jo so so yi jan da ma na la jiao sun che wo len som a rang ke to ga ra hong le wo zhen tu bi ra wa ko tu ye ba chao je ke do je de jo wo de hong le no so de wo hong gen sama de wo zhe de jian chu bi sa ye no do ji rang yi dang do ji ra 等到都是这样，我把那把进去查，大爷查我当，可是我们见到的那当吃着这都见面，把这边没不弄的时候，把这叫我们这边咱咋了把我边咋了边打红，把它大概了红吧红，把它边咋了红吧红，把咱把它红红红，把咋了小人走了咱上张，把咱走了那个红红红，让给你送了，我就去叫我给他叫那。 别推荐过了，那边见他我说我在那个那个，把那个那老人呢，不晓得把那个说哈，看个这一点，你给人去了，你我讲人，那么那个这个都是见下白了的，可是老大爷的话没个说连这个给了接上上去，也上去送到了强我大姐上一段了，强三就我的强就什么什么老一段强就我见着了，陪上去都把那个抽烟那种天把那球。 심지어 대화다 대외주는 내 말이 동안다 동안이 지나 동안에 대화다 문에 완전히 상황이다 대외 당뇨로 내월 조령 신단지는 면소보이 먹고 동병을 송인 걸로 순종과 점세 잡단지 비행에 더 돌지라 그런 지금에 바르베 메르단지 바지베 대화 dom는 무체나 소레 투비행강 아 시행강 주여 고시와在吧当地面前你们就用手做把它做行行开那头是连那做别当你一边嘛讲个那么这边等到让你给这见到我个不你妈妈不这钱那我特没事不等些等的他们这个弄我就是让你给这就等的别提醒了 呀，广东广播些这件送我去我就在我家里都接到这边这把用了去把小娃也马拉波讲吧都。 马波东街拉年街下年街麦道街大堂下花用年街学堂家军真吧家军真吧用个波军这街公别往球个波东街没什么。 拉年前年节在什么这么热当用你他把看这么干净吧年节给你个来年的呢把对节给穷嘛干嘛？ 干嘛差不穷嘛？我妈的东西边小姐跟地姐跟真把小妮的小小姐跟东是不中么个不？公我是我什么那我提穷讲课什么那么这边成我那我。 在这里边什么的样子，我看到他姐把他们姐姐菜呢，马那个银浪菜呢，菜姐给银把那菜姐，你把马波拉松把个波讲个，这把这边都是做给这么一年都是人不见大姐姐这把大姐姐这把都是捡钱吧。 Durje Ba Durje Nurwegen Najan Gujan Xiao Chengwa Durji Jia Tashang Da Jiba Ribi Jia Xia Chuki Jinba Lang Qian Jia Bawi Doyo Xin Da Hua Yi Xiang Dao Chengma Miao Wu Jie Wo Zeren Chu Wu Se Xiu Ba Bang Te Na Co Yum Ser Mo Do Qian Qian Sum Jin Mo Zha Jin Ma Jia Wa Te Zhu Wa Qiang Ni Durje Chi Du Jin Ziba Yab Jian Gu Ning Qu Jin Ba Jie Xian Da Wa Jian Chengma Miao Wo Zeren Chu Wu Se Xiu Bi Bang Te Na Co Ke Yum Sermo na co ke yom sermo xie jie jian song jie wa jir mo zhe xi jia wa de zhe ba jia ni chi du zin ba ya wa jian gu nian qu jin xia yong ya wa tang lian jie jiang xin yi gong bei yab jie jie lan qu ba ni si mi ba nam ba ra ji bi de wa jian bo lang yi jian liang jian ren qian dang zhi bi cha jia ke jian ba ra chu Jian ba ra jiu la yin yu zhe wo mu ge mon de ma ra bo nin ga na zo de ji de hong bo nong jian chen ba ra chu re nin ke ni ma la ni bi hong ke wo zhe zhe ji yi ji ye jian bo jiu juan ji tian jiang gong zi xiu bo ya bo wo dan de ji ma tang man ji dang wang ge la nan li jian dong ge jian chang wo mo xie re la Zha sa ba de wa de gang ba de wu de a lo gen gen de de xiao da ba de yan za hong ba wo yi ba tam ze ba ni se me ba ra chu ni se me ba ra chu mo xie ne da jian na bian da so bo ba yin ma go ha ju wa dam ji ta ke nian nian jiu de da la nian jiu wa ti jin ta go yi xie ba dang lian jian wang gen na nam la xiu ba ti jin yi ba dam ji da gong ba wang go de zo xie zi wo da wang ge wo mo sa wo de dan ge dan bi gen ge de sa ma yin Kia Song Yi Ji De Zi Ji Wang Go Ra Nian La Tam Ji Ji De Wa Qian Bo Dang Ni Tu Jo De Qu Lang Mo La Yin Ni Ji Wa Nga Ke Cha Lu Ji Wu Jian Wang Ke La Nang Tian Ba Ra Chu Ru Tu Ke Song Le Wo Zi De Chun Jung Lang Wen Chu Zi Jian Zhen Ba Nam Ga Gung Kang Ne Jin Ho Jia Lang Chu Ba Ra Jiang Mo Xie Re Ga La Za Zha Sa Ba De A Re A Gang Ba Ne Bu A Lo Gen Gen Ni Wei De Xiao Da Ba De Za Ye So Ha La Ta Men Qi Jian Jian Jia Du Ji Ge Bo Zhe Song Bu Gu Song Xian Chang De So Ru Ba Da Jiang Wei Da An Me Da So Ba Wa Yi Ma Go Hong Ma Hong Ha Ho Ha Xian Ma La Wa Da Ye Hong Bi Ma Hong Wa Ri Xiora An Be Xiora Ma Di Hong Bi So Ha Sarva Dharma Ma Hong Hao Ma Hong Yab Jie Song Me Bing Ang Lang Hu Den Du Jie Ge Wo Zhe Nga Ba Nu Ru Om Jie Ge Zhe Ma Bu Ge Pi Se Bu Ge Wa Yab Jie Song Me Bing Ang Lang A Le Bing Ma Ru Da Ma Jie Wa Chen Zhui Yan Zhen Ba De Wa Jian Bo Ha Bi Za Shi Ma Ru Wen Chen Ba Yin Yong Ba De Xiu Bi Chang Yue Sen Jie Ji Wu Nen Di Ba Le Ba Ga Wa Ti Ni Nin Ka Le Ban Qiu Ga Ti Ni De Wa Le Wa Jie Wa Ti Ni Du Jin Du Ru Zhe Mo Song Bi Len Jie Ji Wa De Wa Jian Bo Nyam Sun Yong Wa Ra Jiu Om Sa Wa De Dan Ga Da An Ran Ga Ben Da So Bo Wa Yin Ma Go Han Ra Yin Mi Be Ne Go Mo La Ye Ni Bo Gong Ji Ba Ti Nin Qiu Ba Qian Bo Du Sang Ji Nong Ye Do Qi Ba Wu Guan Jiu Han Qiu Ji Du Yin Xiong Ge Du Yang Da Jiu La Du Dong Ji Lian Jian Qiu La Du Sang Jiu La Jiang Jiu Du Sang Jian Du La Jiang Du Sang Jian Du Ma Jiu La Du Sang Jian Ji Ba Qiu La Du Sang Jiu La Jiang Du Sang Ji La Jiang Za Ra Du Sang Jian Du Ma Qiu La Du Sang Ji La Jiang Du Sang Ji Song Yi Qiu La Du Sang Ji Su La Jiang Du Mi Ba Lian Qiu La Du Sang Yi Jiu Qiu La Du Nang Wei Lian Qiu La Du Ye Lian Qiu La Du Jing Wei Zhao Wa Qiu La Du Sang Ji Lu Dong Qiu La Du Tam Ji Tam Mi Qiu La Du Ye Ge Ni Qiu La Du Da Ni He Re Ga Ni Bi Ge Ye Ge Nang Du Zong Guo Lu Xie Si Wei Jie Wo Re Zan Da Ji Hu So Hang Ga Bong Gu To De Dian Ba An Jin Ba Zan Da Wa Wu Ne Qiu Ye Re Ye Ko Re Te Mang Lang Bang Nam Ga Ren Wu Se Ra Ma Ran Jiang Ning Ke Ge Zang Da Wu Se Wom Ga Re Bo Qiu Ye Re Jin Du Ne Ye Ko Re Te Hong Zhen An Kam Na Wo Ze Re Ma Ran Jiang Zhu De Wei Ge Zang Da Wa Su Se A Ma Re Bo Se Ba Long Ke Jiu Wa Le Ke Dong Me Ba Ra Wei Ye Ge Jiu Bo Se De Hang Le Ga Re Qi Jun Ha Wei Ye Ge Jiu La Re Su Xian Gan Ma Re Jin De Bei Zang Hu Re Tam Qi Se Xian Yi Xie Ba Chen Ma Mi Wo Ze Ren Chu Bi De Wa Jian Bo Lian Yi Ji Wei Xie Nyam Song Yong Wa Rai Chu Nyam Song Yong Wa Rai Chu Rang Ke Tu Ge Song Wang De Tombe de di na ju do ru je la ne yom je be ma ra ye yom je de me ma ra jo ba ge ye ju yom je she ne dong ran ke she de ju ko wa ra cho om a hong ho ha ja ma la wa ra ya hong pi on an be sho ma de da hong pi de 타라도그라 오제데 예강우드 현에 용라텐 용야비야 투게 홍라텐 홍예 캡조 고방고본 뜻에 나다와데드니 나다 양매 바저베강도 효라 양라니 히르가 시제차니 예장케 니송예게 somjensem베마 홍 마홍 폐매동종 투쟁콜로 진콜로제 라조 담외제 제겐도 제나고 젠장 도바호가 담지제 힌두균이랑 니제르데 바이남 조더 대베도 바라제 라담자 도제부 자 홍레 도제고 제좀베 부구 서로와 장대서 서로가 대화 전부 예르미로 제도 좀 아홍호 하자말라와라 비교다나 이단 발랭다 한엔도 서로와 제대 팔아홍 조지들만 되게라 내려다장 그리제 내면서 동제당 배다라가서 노예 그도 지나지나 서울에 이거로 달라서 등제 달라서 그러더니 가래서 팀장이 나다 동안이나 저다 물론이나 자망에 재능은 안 좋은 일에 대해로 레당 저는 좀 배라다 되는 좀 이란도 바군도 저 팸 라소베 지용조젠 당 오다간데가 로가발라 사바레와레 사바레와레 벤더 사만 좀 다간데가 로가발라 사바레와레 아르가마데 비베데 알로기니 샤다 바데인다 예소 하우 다간데가 로가발라 사바레와레 아가르 모고서와다만 아데니나 나우다 오마옹 비소 하추 종조본 코다다지 지지들만 되게라 내려다 그지라 네메다 오저다 베다라 가다 예 근도 이힐라질라서 레정으로 달아서 드미지 달아서 롱으로 그니 가리서 드미치나 니나다 동당이나 희원도 밀랑이나 세왕에 지대매매면서 지대의 옐로레 당드나 버린 춤베라다 드레드미 중앙다 이라도 버든도 쇼 근로교 직대 바나랑게니서 이히 바나랑이라 템버죠 마홍 수라들에서 집에서 진초반대 반대서 벨라말라 집에서 저거다 이당 콜로니아 예담 투쟁콜로라 보소제 거와다 주종 만능 공점들라 등소제 거와다 소다 들마제 대니वे가다 불라나란도라 매바 예서도 알라라된 예반동 거대와다 게나 사바레와레 가나서 번달라 카해 세킨데나 라이브엔들라 대동 자면 터자도 현재냠베 영서로 들해 출라린 타민 도자라서 저만나 소동진반나 바네 티 해니드 다드 도 아가르 무가서들만 아디니면 나오마 베소 지단 발랭다 바차바 소하 대원대 연료다 짐니 장신 총니 녀존에 좀된 뒤전콜로고 송토 이些연대 until chodo shows So maybe if no question, then we can dedication.
Do we have it? Does anyone have any questions, or should we close?
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. There's no chat function on the Zoom, so I couldn't type my question. My question is about the visualization of the Lama. It is said that Vajradhara is highly recommended because it's inclusive of everything, of all guru.
Mm-hmm.
But then Vajradhara is a deity, not a Lama per se.
That is also that's in the Vajradhara thing also Gumguyora. In a Gumguyori Tina Yata Terite ngō tsawe lama imbala namba durje chang songdwa tegum goyores
Yena di lag yo sarwa gain sana pena karsi chikchina di sabo lag yo mare yena pena de shakya tuba do yena lama do re yangna dinda de guru mbachi lama do re yena de dorje chang di la do yiram la do yemba de lama yemba do yo
made ma
mare
durje chang sanjirwa
yeah so no so actually Vajradhara is the Buddha, the primordial Buddha. So that is, so it's not actually that Vajradhara is a Yidam deity, but actually represents the essence of the root Lama. And actually it's funny, sorry, it is funny that you asked this question because it came up to me while Rinpoche was giving the lung that I forgot to mention when he was talking about the different, you can visualize Vajradhara, you can visualize Buddha Shakyamuni, and then of course like in the Yangza tradition or Nyingma tradition, you visualize the root guru as Guru Rinpoche, and I just forgot to say that. So, but in the Kagyu tradition, you visualize the root guru as Vajradhara.
But then there wouldn't be the distinction of, can you?
I'm sorry? I didn't hear that.
I'm so sorry. Because I'm looking at you from YouTube, I think there's a delay in YouTube.
Oh, okay.
So I thought you were still talking. But okay, I'm sorry. Then there wouldn't be a distinction between the fact that Lama is somebody we can receive actual teaching. But the visualization of a Buddha or a Yidam or a deity in our visualization field is not somebody we can receive direct teaching.
Yeah, okay.
te la imba ta discourse mai
Okay, that's all.
te la imba ngō tsawe lama imbala namba durje chang namba
So it's just
ngō lama imbala
so the essence is the Lama, but then the form is Vajradhara. So we're visualizing the form of Vajradhara, who is in essence our root guru, our root Lama. The Buddha nature within them, yeah, root Lama. Right.
Well, when it comes to, if you were to talk about essence, then the essence of the Buddha, the Yidam, the Guru, they are all the same.
Yeah.
So to say the essence of the Lama as a distinction, what does that mean exactly?
Right. So these are actually, right, that's, I understand, okay. So, yes, you can, your root Lama or Lama, right, your Lama. So sometimes, that's okay, actually, this okay. But sometimes difficult to always pure motivation, even true Lama.
Pure view. It's
pure
hard to
view
have pure
or
view
pure
towards
faith.
the Lama.
So that time is you, okay, so my root is the Vajradhara, so
my root Lama
you are
Vajradhara.
protect,
So you're protecting yourself, sort of.
So by same time, your root Lama and Vajradhara is not really different. And also this, the form of the Vajradhara, you can look this, like for example, protection, okay. Maybe sometimes we hear, okay, oh my Lama, I don't know what he's, he's pure or not, so. Then you just visualize Vajradhara, okay, yeah, just my root is Vajradhara, So then you protect. Otherwise you can, oh my Lamas, this and that, and then this, because you are allowed to receive, teachings, there are samayas, the possible to you broken samaya. Longitudinal, they protect to us, they say, okay, if that, then okay, just meantime, you not visualize just whatever that person, you visualize Vajradhara, But same time, your teacher is inseparable there.
Is inseparable.
Right.
Is there in Vajradhara. Yeah.
Okay. I understand what Drupon is saying in one aspect, and I actually like it, but I'm just trying to understand the detail. So when I'm visualizing Vajradhara, am I thinking, well, when we say Lama, we think about a particular individual who's now on earth that I've met. So when I visualize Vajradhara, do I think that image is Vajradhara, or do I think the image is the particular Lama that I met? But in the form of Vajradhara.
So Gayan sena pena de dorje chang gom giona, deni dorje chang rang yemba sam giore be yang na pena dena de nge sawe lama jiktin de la tu yore mezu yore, deni de dorje chang digi lama rang re sam giore be.
Right, so, okay, this is good. So, actually, so Vajradhara is, right, so we learn is root Lama. So everything comes from Lakkaji tradition, Vajradhara, and then Teloba, Naroba, and then this Marba, Mila, and so on, you know. So, and I think you are saying is, so we, okay, so if you're perfect, you know, unchanging, faith to a root Lama, you can just forever, you're Lama. You just, Lama is Lama, right? And then, if you really need, sometimes, you know, you don't have, we don't have the pure vision to Lama. So Lama is human being, and sometimes false, we see.
It sometimes has faults that we see.
So that harm is, oh, Lama's doing this, Lama's doing this. Yeah, maybe you not focus the Lama's fall. Instead,
False.
you visualize the Vajradhara. Okay, so this, another thing is actually this good question. So,
I want to know how to do it this way. Because, so what my question is, when I visualize Vajradhara, do I think Vajradhara is my root guru, or do I think my
yes,
root guru is in the image of Vajradhara?
yes, correct.
Both correct. So both correct?
Yes, yes.
Okay, all right. So I have a choice.
Yeah, your choice, which is good.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. I'm done with my question. Thank you.
Okay.
But chirang tata chik sungya yoro. Tata sungdo chik yoro.
Really?
Sung tigere. I was just saying, you were about to say something, you can finish your thought. And he said, oh, we're almost out of time.
So this, I think important part is Lama, right? We're talking about the Lama. So maybe you can see the image better. So Jatanga to Lama Murray, see, Nati, not so practical labor jake down. Tine, Jatanga to Lama Tanya, the need that this kind of separation chigo place.
So you know, we have the Lama who is a human being, and like on the practical level, there's sort of like two ways that we can think about relying on the Lama.
Okay, that first ordinary sense or whatever ordinary or relative level, okay, chorang Lama ta, Lama kharichigidu. Lama Khandeyu,
So on the relative level, we also want to investigate the Lama. We want to observe and see, you know, what are they doing, how are they, what is their behavior, etc. And if we decide that it's not a good Lama, it's okay to decide that that's not, you know, to decide that.
Yena yang chorang practical level la, nyamne chip ne kap la chorang lama te ten rawa, lama te ten du, 다 라마 텔라 카르세나 다 종다야요 말이스.
That's interesting. I don't know why you say practical level in English, but that's okay. But on
냠래 징겐지 근고 다 단다 라마 때 라마라 거추슈 디추슈 냠래 징요로 디갑라스.
But on a practical level, if we are like receiving Dharma from that Lama, we're, requesting teachings, we're receiving guidance, or we have received, we've already received maybe empowerments, transmissions, teachings from that teacher. Then when it comes to the practice, we don't need to focus on that Lama's faults. We don't need to see their faults.
다 디갑라 라마텔라 가서 진지 링동세야 돼. 다 라마디 고 산지 근고 라마디 예담게 고 다 공고요레스. 라마디 고솜지 당니 고들 공고요레스.
So at that time, when it comes to our practice and how we're relating with that Lama, we want to connect with their essence that is the Buddhahood essence. So we do want to hold the pure view of seeing them as the Buddha, as seeing them as the Yiram, as seeing them as the embodiment of the three kayas.
Tikablas, that's the most important part. Lama for you cigarettes, Lama perfectly in Maris. Intel Lama corner responsibility. Mato de Yore, park, the Pachina, park on Kigre. Pug de Pachina, Pug Kigores, Lama corner responsibilities.
So, Gare part Dikba Gare?
Mato de park de Pachina, or park on responsibilities. Pug de Pachina, Pug on responsibility.
Oh, Pa Dangbo.
Oh, better no pay the Hagro. But Tenaji, then Lama corner, Yabome, Lama corner, La Megewayu, Lama corner Jona, Lama corner responsibilities. Ko Koran Corles Agore, Koran Yongroa. Then was Dago Maris.
Then, Matawe Gijim Center, so that much. So because it is possible that the Lama has faults, probably the Lama does have faults. Probably they are not perfect. But whatever faults that the Lama has, that is the responsibility of the Lama. That's their responsibility. So like a father, the negativity or non-virtue of the father has to carry. The negativity or non-virtue of the child has to carry. That's their responsibility. So it isn't, so if there is fault there, if there is non-virtue, then that is the responsibility that they have to bear.
다 텔레카스 나소섬노 빵고로와. Lama da fall you meron lama con responsibility. Nek lama la chushu bare, one top bare, long top bare. Tinu ta ngala nyamnongji jego growa. Nyamno jewade ta lama to some sanji some tengo gores. Te tembe ki jumsen teledene ran la soni lama te tende jeko som danye de lama tsawe lama yi samba yo. Lama da tsa chembodi sambe lo yo na. Rang tangi khasan hyuimba lama chokure sama chokutore lama longkure sama longkutore lama turkure sama turkutore lama kosom dani tore tene togres tele rang sama tango gores lama kona samba yo mares.
Boy, I am booked up.
So
At least you see it.
So if we've received Dharma from that teacher, especially if we've received, empowerments, instructions, and if we're, in the context of our practice, then we can see the pure essence of the Lama. We can see them as the embodiment of the three kayas, or the Buddhas of the three times, because that is kind of what benefits our practice. We don't need to allow the faults of the Lama to harm our own practice. So for instance, just as is said, depending on our perception, the purity of our view. If we see the Lama as the Dharmakaya, our result is we gain the fruition of the Dharmakaya. If we see as the Sambhogakaya, we gain the fruition of the Sambhogakaya. And so our experience and like meditation is still that we can see, we don't have to focus on the faults. We can see the pure essence of the teacher regardless of their faults.
That in Gunong to Yona study the Lamas on the Gunong Kusum Dani Lama to Gunong to Mina, Lama Jong Yo Lama Jiri, somebody around Jong Janare, jump up with Yomaris.
So if we don't see the Lama as the embodiment of the three kayas, if we just have a really like negative perception and are seeing them as like this faulted character, then it's just gonna cause us to gain more obscuration. Like that will end up being more harmful to us. If we see the Lama as an ordinary being, then by meditating on the Lama, it just it just has the results of ordinary being an ordinary being or chaining So when we understand this, then there's kind of like it's the cultivating faith and devotion is with good reason. There's real benefit there, and we understand why this is plays such an important role in the practice. Wait, do you have a
Sanji Kiara la Karzon Yore, Sanji Chu Sugar do Yorwa, or Chu Sugar do Hologaji, Nanochi, Sugore, Hologa Nambi, that Chuk Weludo Tishan, Lamati Oya, that Jonga Chonanguyuna, Chorangi Lute Shamatu, Chometonzo, the bar, the Chiton Chinuna, that Chorangi Chonangos.
So Lugi Chatru, Dini?
The Malo, Chomebar.
Yeah, Okay. The Agon Rose only. Yeah. Marme check.
Mamma don't love that kind of mumble that Mambo Grace, that on Mamma Grace. Loved it in Sanjiko degrees, Gamalme Tambonga Malmezo, Shiz Grace, and Chutu Gumaris. Tene Yina Yang, Tambo, the Malmeta Mato, Machona, Tene Malmezugi, so Sanjik, Tambo Chushu, Hologahu, Tene Malmezugi.
So, and if you think about it, what we have to recognize the kindness of our spiritual teachers. The kindness of hearing even a single line of Dharma has inconceivable benefit throughout, all future lifetimes. The seed of just hearing a single line of Dharma, is immeasurable in its benefit. And so therefore, any teacher that we receive Dharma from is worthy of our appreciation and respect. And so for instance, there's a story of during the Buddha's lives prior to his life as a Buddha, as a Bodhisattva. There's one story where it says that he was really seeking Dharma and just asking, so many teachers, to please share the Dharma with him. And there was one Lama or spiritual teacher who agreed, I guess, to give him a single line. I might be getting some of this wrong, so forgive me, but a single line of Dharma. But told the Buddha, or the Buddha in his life prior to becoming the Buddha, that he needed to offer 1,000 butter lamps in his skin by like making a hole in his skin and putting oil and then lighting a lamp and offering his body basically as like 1,000 butter lamps to receive this single line of Dharma. And so the Buddha, or the Buddha prior to being the Buddha, thought, yes, this is, but I'll die if I do that. So then he asked the teacher to give him this single line of Dharma before he basically offered his body as a giant butter lamp.
Right.
Yeah, and so this is to express, you know, just how valuable and profound the Dharma is.
I think many stories, but we time. Okay, now short dedication.
Okay, so we'll do a short dedication. On page 16 of the prayer book. Last line. By the virtues collected in the 3 times, by myself and all beings and samsara and nirvana, and by the innate root of virtue, may I and all sentient beings quickly attain unsurpassed, perfect, complete, and precious enlightenment. May the teachings of the great Dragompa Ratna Shri, who is omniscient, Lord of the Dharma, Master of interdependence, continue and increase through study, practice, contemplation, and meditation until the end of samsara.
Thank you. Very good. So see you tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank
So
you.
now here
Thank
tomorrow's
you.
teaching there is session of the Mahamudra and Dzogchen, so we more discuss.
Check Lamala.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so very much.
Dr. J. Drupon.
Thank you, Lama.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Rinpoche.
Thank you, translator.
I'm going to be home. I'll try to get that to you by 7.
Oh, okay. All right. Is it lining up at all? Like, what you're hearing, is it feeling like it's kind of like...
Yeah. It's just, it'll be easier for the next part if you can have reference maybe.
That will be wonderful.
Because the translation is not perfect, but I did clarify it with several people, I think. Some of the parts, I believe, I forget who, but I've been through it, yeah.